everybody, and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So I'm here again to bring you my weekly wrap-up, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But before I get to that, I just want to let people know that if you won my giveaway and you messaged me, I did get the message, and I haven't mailed them out yet, but they will be going very soon. Things have obviously been crazy with, the weekend. I was like, I'm not going to do it on the weekend because it's not going to go anywhere anyways, even if I did ship it. So then obviously Columbus Day, so I thought I was going to do it today, but then I'm having to make dinner, so that didn't necessarily happen. Well, I didn't really make dinner. I thought of dinner and then I chopped some stuff, but that being said, I made dinner. So they should be, I'm hopefully ready to package them and whatnot tomorrow, so they should be out relatively soon. Fingers crossed. I'm really sorry. When I planned this giveaway, I really thought I was going to be on top of it, and then with everything happening, it's just been not so on top of it. But I've been doing so much better reading wise. I've kind of caught up to my goal of how I tend to do two books, not two books, a book every 2 days, and I'm almost kind of caught up because I've read 6.5 books if you count the half a rush that I read in the beginning of the month, and so 6.5, and today's the 14th, so I should technically be at 7. So 6.5 is totally okay with me. It's funny because last year, October was my best reading month. I read 16 books, and by the looks of it, this month might be the worst. No, I actually think last month might be the worst. Let's check. Last month I read 10.5, so I could potentially make up. So if I keep going the way I'm going, we should be good. So I read 4 books since you last saw me. I've just been kicking it into gear. I'm I need to go. So that's what I've been doing. So the first book I read was Another Little Piece by Karyus Quinn. This book, how do I even describe this book? I gave this book 2 stars. The idea is kind of intriguing. So it follows this girl, I want to say her name is Amy, but I really don't think so. Nope, Annalise. And she is just found. She was missing for over a year, but she kind of has amnesia. She doesn't remember anything really, and she feels really weird in her body, and she starts to kind of figure things out about her, I guess. It's very, very strange, and I really don't know how to explain it. There's something weird that goes on with her and who she really is and why she doesn't remember anything. But I feel like that's kind of a spoiler, and I don't even know how to explain it, because it's not zombies or anything. But it's just gross, and this book was over 400 pages long, and it just didn't need to be. I was just confused the whole time. The main character is confused for, a good portion of the book. And I was more confused than she was. Probably more confused than she was. So I gave it 2 stars. It was alright. I mean, the pacing was alright because I was actually able to fly through this pretty fast. I don't know if it's the font or what, but I did kind of fly through this, even though it was awful and confusing. So I would not go personally recommending this book, and I'm glad I got it on Book Outlet and didn't pay an arm and a leg for it, because it was just not good. And then I read Enshadowed by Creagh. This is the second book to Nevermore, and I read Nevermore a year and a half ago, because I think it was just right at the end of my internship. So that would have been 2013. So, so then maybe it was a year. What year are we in? 2014. Yeah, so maybe it was a year ago. And I liked it. I didn't really love it. I think I gave it 2 or 3 stars. I wasn't a big fan. I think it's because it focuses around Edgar Allan Poe, and I really don't know much about Edgar Allan Poe, but it follows this girl, and she kind of goes on to be with this boy, well, not goes on to be with, but she gets partnered up with Varen, so she's a cheerleader. He's the emo goth kid, and they get paired together, and crazy stuff goes down. Didn't really like the first book. But I bought the second book. I got this at Books A Million for $4 down in Florida at Christmas time. So I was I'll buy it. It's hardcover. It's $4. Never read it, never really had any interest to read it, and then I was like, well, it's Halloween, and Oblivion, which is the third book, is supposed to finally come out this month after this one came out in 2012. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll read this one, and then I still have my 30-day free trial of Amazon Prime. Maybe I will buy the third one. Third one doesn't come out until next year now. All of a sudden it got pushed back to, I think, July or August of next year. I don't know what this author is doing, because even though like her books are like 400 pages long, the font is pretty decent sized, and I don't understand why it takes her like 3 years to produce a book. Because if you think about it, my first book came out in 2010. This one came out in 2012. The next one's not coming out until 2015. 5 years. 5 years. Like, YA, I feel like sometimes, like, people grow out of YA. Like, I know sometimes I feel like I'm growing out of it. So to follow a series for 5 years, like, it's not like J.K. Rowling, who literally had a book coming out, like, every year. Like, what? I don't get it. But back to this book. I liked this one so much more than Nevermore. I believe I gave this one 4 or 3. No, I gave it 4 stars, I think. I kind of like this one more than the first one, so I'm kind of interested to see how it ends, because it ends kind of crazy. So that should be interesting. Then I read Horrorstor by Grady Hendrix. This is an adult novel, which I thought was interesting, because at first I did not realize this was an adult novel. And obviously everyone's seen it. People have been getting it from Quirk Books. I didn't. I bought mine. And literally it looks like an IKEA catalog, and it's just crazy. I believe I gave this one 4 stars as well. Hold on, I'm trying to find. Like, it's got pictures in it of, like, signs and furniture and what the furniture does, and the furniture gets creepier and creepier as it goes on. This follows, this is Amy. I think her name's Amy. Amy? 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 Where are you? Of course, she's, like, on every page except now she's not on the pages. Okay, yep, her name is Amy. She works at Orsk, which is pretty much an IKEA, but the cheap version of IKEA. That's what the book even says, that they are a cheap version of IKEA. And weird things are going on in the store, and so the, like, head clerk guy, not clerk, but, like, the manager, he decides that him, Ruth Ann, and her, they are going to spend the night, because it seems like the weird stuff is happening between midnight and, like, 6 in the morning, because that's when, like, the lights go off and the cameras can't see it. So they decide to do that. Obviously, creepy stuff goes down, and yeah, it was kind of scary. I gave this 4 stars. It was kind of squeamish. Like, if you're squeamish, don't read it, probably. But, like, I thought it was good. It's just, it seemed kind of unreal. Like, I know it's obviously not going to be realistic, because this is not going to happen in real life. But it was, like, weird, because there was, like, ghosts and things that just didn't seem possible. Like, I kept doubting the realness of it, because it's, like, this is not going to naturally happen if you go into, like, a store. Like, I wanted, like, a real, like, murderer, or, like, a real thing versus, like, a ghost paranormal horror out of it. But other than that, it was good. It's just, I thought it was kind of unrealistic, so I couldn't actually be scared of it, because it just didn't seem like it could really happen in real life. But other than that, it was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars. And then the last book, which I just finished today, is Made for You by Melissa Marr. I really liked this book. I also gave this book 4 stars, which is interesting because this book was totally not on my radar until just recently. And it's about a girl. Of course, I just finished it, and I'm already blanking on her name. Let's see. Where's her name? Eva. I don't know why I blanked on that. Eva. And she's hit by a car. And she doesn't know, like, what happened. And, like, when she wakes up, all of a sudden, like, when people touch her, she can see how they die. Which is utterly freaky. And, like, this is, like, in a small town in North Carolina. Like, everybody knows everybody. And she's, like, Miss, like, I'm perfect because my parents own a winery. And, well, she doesn't feel like that. But, like, that's how they see her, is her parents own a winery. There's a I think her mom's not a reverend. But there's, like, a reverend. Her dad's dad is reverend. So, like, she's kind of high up in this town, and then it turns out that she starts to suspect that this wasn't just any hit and run, that she was actually being, like, potentially murdered, and all these murders happen, and they're trying to figure out who did it, and you get different perspectives. You get Eva's, Grace, who's her best friend, and the killer, but you don't know who the killer is until about, I want to say, a little over 50 pages. You start to really suspect, and you actually can figure out who it is. But it was pretty good. I liked it. I don't know what. At some points, it was just kind of like, okay, she got enough messages. Time to just, like, end this. Which was interesting because it was only 356 pages. But I don't know. It still helped. I think it was just because I was reading it mostly on Columbus Day. And I was kind of, like, distracted. I don't know why. So, like, I wasn't. I was stirring sauce and stuff. But, like, so I was kind of not, like, fully, like, into this thriller. But I still thought it was pretty decent, and I gave it 4 stars, so I would recommend this really weird book with a bug. And that's all I read this week. This is like a long video. I did not mean for this to get this long. But I hope you guys enjoyed, maybe found something else to read. And I will see you guys very soon. Hopefully my book outlet order will come in this week, which would be awesome. But if not, that will obviously come next week. But what you gonna do? So I hope you guys had a really great reading week, not month. But yeah, I'm starting to ramble, and I'm just gonna go. So bye everybody.